In 2020, we at Ledger connected your contact details with the world in an event now referred to as the Ledger Leak. But this was but the beginning. Introducing Trust Me Bro. With Trust Me Bro, we're taking control of your private keys so you don't have to. You still get to pay for the cool, shiny stick to wear around your neck, but your private keys will be divided and stored safely in 3 different companies that you can 100% trust, because that's what crypto is all about. Now, for a small monthly fee, we'll take good care of your fortune. This time around, we know what we're doing. This time, it's different. At Ledger, we believe in second chances and third chances. And besides, technically speaking, it is and always has been possible to write firmware that facilitates key extraction. You have always trusted Ledger not to deploy such firmware, whether you knew it or not. Bitch? Ledger, not your keys, not your coins.
What's going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Bitcoin being boring as ever, although it has been kind of crazy with some of these meme coins and all this other stuff. But there's something very, very big that I want to talk about today because I think that we could see a really big market shift soon. Now, there's a few different things that we have that are going on right now. Number one is we have this on-chain data. We also have insane whale activity right now. And you got to see what's going on with these wallets. Also, some people getting kind of like bored, saying maybe crypto's boring, it's dead, losing interest, right? These are usually signs that something big is around the corner, but it's not even just the typical, oh, retail wallets and whale moves and on-chain data. No, there's also something really crazy that's happening over in China right now. And I'm not just talking about the Hong Kong crypto trading. And while you're going to want to stick around for it, I don't want to ruin it too soon, but it could just be the perfect storm of everything that's going on right now, so you're probably going to want to stick around to the end and hear that. And also, I do have an update for everyone on the Ledger situation. Now, just to let you guys know, I have spoke about Engrave before. This is what their wallet looks like right here. This is the, I believe it's called the Zero, right? So I'm thinking maybe I'll make an update or I'll do like a tutorial on this so you guys can learn how to use this. This is 100% air gapped. It never connects to the internet at any point. It's all done via scanning barcodes and stuff like that, and nothing ever leaves this device. So if you guys want me to go over this, I will make a tutorial on how to do it. This is a little bit expensive though. It's about $400 per device. So it's very expensive, but I actually have met with the CEO personally. I've talked to him. I've had a chance to use the product. It is legit. It's just, you know, the price point is a little bit high, and, you know, Ledger Nano S is a lot easier for people to use, but considering everything going on, if you're interested, make sure you check that out. I do have a link below in the description I'll put if you guys want to get it engraved. And also, friendly reminder, before we get to the rest of the video, I will be tonight at 6:30 p.m. CST, which is 7:30 Eastern time. I'm going to be on this Twitter Spaces, so if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, I'm going to be over with Cryptos R Us, you know, Brian Evans, Crypto Crow, Benjamin Cohen, you guys, Leia Hale Pern, you can see everybody on here right now. So check that out if you're interested, but without further ado, let's dive in, let's have a look. Now, I'm going to be super quick today on the TA because, again, nothing is really changing. Of course, what I don't like is you see when you start to get these like rounded tops, like they start to round like that, and you see how that's kind of what we're getting right now, a rounded top. Sometimes that tells me that we could potentially be looking for a move to the downside, unfortunately, right? And I still think that we have this target at around 25,300. Now, I know you guys are tired of like the day-to-day stuff, but look at what Tech Dev was actually pointing out over here. So he's talking about Bitcoin on adjusted log, lots of math. I'm not going to go into all this stuff. It's very technical, but you know, we're getting sort of around the 75-80% point of where you would be looking for this move. Now, he's saying that we could see Bitcoin, if Bitcoin tried to attempt to come up to the top of this curve, you know, by essentially the end of this year, he's saying that you could see Bitcoin close to about $100,000 by the end of this year. Now, I'm not going to make any assumptions or guesses on whether or not that's actually positive. In fact, I've been looking at sort of a 2025 new top for Bitcoin, but I do believe that we will get a new all-time high next year. So TechDev points out, if you just have a look at this trend line that had been supporting us, and I've showed you this before, if we come down here and logarithmically come up and retest it, even if we get rejected, right? That puts Bitcoin upwards of around $160,000 by April of next year. So that is crazy, guys. Is it possible? Will it happen with everything going on? I don't know, but it is interesting to see, and obviously I think we would go even higher than that, or what would happen is I think it would take 2 years to get to that point, right? But again, short term, we just need to stay above the 200 weekly moving average, which is sitting at around 26,300 roughly. So I do still believe there's that chance that we come below it. And what we don't want to do is we don't want to have a fake out over here on the ribbon, right? Because you could see, once the ribbon starts to twist in the opposite direction, like here and here, that's when the trend changes, right? So as you can see right here, we are above the ribbon still, which is good. We fell below the 89, right? And again, I mean, guys, you got to admit, I've literally nailed this. I've told you this now for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 straight weeks, basically, that anytime we are above this 89, and this is, you guys can just go on TradingView, it's free, it's called the EMA ribbon. It's a free indicator. And you can see anytime that we're above this, you use that as your long, right? So don't go super high leverage because you can always get these wicks. But basically, you long, and now we are below it. So now we're using this as the area to short, right? Which means every time Bitcoin goes up to around 27,500, that would now be your area to put in your short. Obviously, use stop losses. Don't be irresponsible. But I mean, this is a strategy that's worked out literally for every single one of these represents 1 week. And every single week, with the exception of this one where we didn't go down, has basically been accurate. And then, of course, we fell down here. So, obviously, you jump on a trampoline enough times, you're going to fall through it, right? But we knew we were getting those bounces, which is why I think we were a little bit oversold. Again, if you guys do want to learn how to trade, make sure you watch the tutorial up above. I know that Bybit not kicked people off. They enforced KYC. So there's other decentralized exchanges. BitGet is still really good. Femex is still really good. I have tutorials on those. Check them out, try them out. Be safe. Obviously, don't put all your coins on a centralized exchange. I think you guys know that by now. But again, we're still in this upwards trend. We're still looking for support. So 25,300 can't really stress it enough. And some people say, well, what's your worst case scenario? Well, my worst case scenario would be actually retesting this, because we had this as the close back in 2017. We had this little area right here, which is probably hard for you guys to see, but if I zoom in, you can see that it actually acted as resistance. Can you see right here? Right there, boom. Not much, but we got hung up there. We held under it for a week, right? And then we got above it right here. So worst case scenario, how low do I think Bitcoin could go? All the doom and gloomers out there, and this is what we were talking about with Garrett Soloway. Yeah, could Bitcoin go back down to about 18,800 and retest this massive area for a flip? Sure, why not, right? But ultimately, we would still be putting in this massive uptrend. So that is that for me today, guys, as far as that's concerned. Talking about what's going on now, there's a lot of activity happening right now. Sharks and whales have come all the way back in their accumulation of USDC, BUSD, and DAI. Now, what does this mean? Well, generally speaking, when you see whales accumulating stable coins, it usually means that they're getting ready to pull the trigger, right? Generally speaking, unless they're just cashing it out to their bank accounts, but we're talking about crypto just sitting in stable coins, not being converted and, put into bank accounts, right? We're talking about just sitting in wallets. So you can see we had this dip down here. That was during the Bitcoin rush, and then we hit that resistance that I talked about, and now we're starting to see that accumulation again. What's also pointing out to the fact that we could be looking for something. Now, I know you're like, well, I just said it was going to go down. Yeah, I do think the price still has a chance to go down short term, but I think that the reason that we're seeing these guys piling up on stable coins is because they're waiting. They know that there may be that, there's even a potential, flush down to 20K, 18K. We've gone over that. I think they're waiting to pounce on that. I think it's actually bullish accumulation of stable coins. And you can also see that Bitcoin whales with 10,000 Bitcoin or more have actually started accumulating since the end of last month, right? Another thing to point out is non-zero addresses have officially hit an all-time high. Now, take this metric with a grain of salt. Obviously, one person can have 1,000 wallets, right? So you don't really know, are these new people, right? But nevertheless, you are seeing that accumulation of the retail amount of Bitcoin. And something kind of weird, I just want to throw this in there for fun. I don't know what this means, but according to data from the mempool, the Bitcoin mining pool known as unknown, nobody knows who these guys are, has mined 18 blocks in the last 24 hours, which represents 13% of all of the blocks. Unknown has mined 51 blocks in the past week alone. They have 11 equihashes, which equals about 3% of the hash rate share, and the hash rate officially just hit a new all-time high for this unknown mining pool. So your guess is as good as mine. Who are these mysterious miners that are suddenly starting to mine Bitcoin? Where are they coming from? Are they coming from China possibly? Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But you can see massive, massive movement again on the Bitcoin blockchain. There was a whale that moved. Actually, it was really weird. 5,405 Bitcoin were moved in literally, I think it was 4 or 5 separate batches, which is kind of weird to move that specific number. I don't know why 5,405, but generally speaking, when you start to see, this accumulation of stable coins, you start to see the wallets go up, you start to see the coins moving all around, it usually means that something big is coming. And, this was a post, and I'm not trying to out this person over here. I'm not going to say their name, but, crypto feels dead to me. And it's just this, paragraph of how it kind of feels like the markets are over and the chance of making money in crypto and the excitement is kind of gone. And this is exactly what we talk about. This is the time when people start getting bored, when people start becoming complacent, right? That's usually when something big is actually on the horizon. A lot of people think it's, when price has crashed. No, actually, when price is crashing, it's kind of exciting. Maybe not in a good way for your portfolio, but at least there's something to talk about, right? Price is crashing, and all the YouTubers and everybody, we come out, oh my God, price is crashing, right? But it's kind of boring right now, and there's not really much to talk about. But that is when you should be paying the most attention. When no one's talking about it, when they're bored out of their mind because price just hasn't moved, right? That is when I start to get concerned. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute, but I did want to talk about the Ledger recovery service. So basically, they're going to pause this, they say, amid backlash. They're going to open source the code, and the CEO says in the past week that it has been a humbling experience, and he apologized for the firm's miscommunication. You can see Ledger Recover will be launched as soon as the source code is auditable. So this is good, right? This is actually pretty good on their part that they're going to open source it and allow other people to look into the code, assess the code, see if there's anything concerning about it, right? So that's a level of transparency that I can appreciate. He goes on to say, we believe in these amendments to the project and will continue to build the industry together. So again, I can appreciate that. But if you guys are kind of scarred or you're worried about it, I could definitely tell you, and I'm not trying to shill this, I don't care what you guys do. I do have a link for it below. Obviously, if you use the link, you help support the channel. I don't care what you do, just get your coins, in a place that's safe. And I can definitely tell you that, this is a safe device from what I'm aware of. Obviously, I'm not a developer. I don't know how to read code, but everyone I've talked to has really had a good experience with Ngrave. Like I said, I'm probably going to do a tutorial. It's got a fingerprint sensor. It also, it generates private keys using lighting. Yeah, crazy. So no two will ever generate the same thing because it's based on certain conditions, 100% air gapped. Like I said, the only downside is the price. It's expensive. So I do have a link below. If you want to use that link, you do help support the channel. I don't care. You don't have to use my link. You don't have to use an Ngrave, right? I just want you to get your crypto in a place that's safe. And right now, if you're using a Ledger Nano X and you've upgraded or something like that, I don't think there's a reason to panic. But if you are concerned, you can always just buy the old Ledger Nano S, although I don't know if now they've updated it, or, just get an Ngrave. I mean, these things are literally air-gapped. They do not have the capacity of connecting to the internet, which is interesting, right? Because they're a digital screen. But check it out. Do some research. If you guys are interested, I do have a link for Ngrave below. I'll do a tutorial on it that way, so you guys can have a reference point to refer to if you do want to get one. I'll show you guys how to use it. I'll probably put that out next week or something. So here's the big news. Enough about this Ledger FUD. Really enough. I've had enough of it, actually. So CZ, he mentioned this, okay? And this came out this morning. And he says that the CCTV, which is the China Central Television, just broadcasted crypto. Now, keep in mind, cryptocurrency is banned in China. So he says it's a big deal. The Chinese-speaking communities are buzzing. Historically, coverages like these lead to bull runs. Not saying that past predicts the future and not financial advice, right? Now, this is, you can see right here, this was a clip. I'm not going to play this because I don't really know how copyright works on these types of channels. but you see the SFC, they're talking about it, crypto, Bitcoin. And now basically what they're talking about is, look, NFTs. Basically what they're talking about is Hong Kong, coming out and allowing everyone to start trading, which, by the way, if you want to know the official coins, just so you guys know, it's going to be Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Polkadot, Solana, Cardano, Avalanche, Polygon, Chainlink, right? But what's really weird about this whole thing with the Chinese TV is we know that they're banning Bitcoin, but Hong Kong is sort of that like experimental financial district of China. They're kind of part of China, but they're not part of China. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a weird relationship. I don't really know if it's the same as like Washington, D.C. in the U.S. I don't think it's that kind of a dynamic, but it's something kind of similar where like it's within but its own thing, kind of thing. But what's crazy is for a country who has such an anti-crypto stance, explain this to me. The capital city of China's Jiangsu province, Nanjing, I probably said it wrong, has launched a new government-backed metaverse platform. Metaverse. Moreover, an official announcement noted the founding members of the platform, all representing various academic institutions and metaverse-centered companies throughout the country. So China, not cool with crypto, but they're building a metaverse? What's going on here? What's going on here? Bitcoin on Chinese TV, Hong Kong letting people trade certain assets, building out a metaverse project, government-backed. Are you guys seeing how the stars are aligning here? They know that they can't kill it. They know that at some point they're just going to have to embrace it. So it's a pretty big deal. And, I'm not saying that like we need China. I mean, Bitcoin got to $70,000 and China wasn't even involved, right? So we don't need China. But I mean, just imagine, with all this extra capital pooling in, with all this extra opportunity to get involved with cryptocurrencies, it's definitely something very, very interesting. Of course, unfortunately, you take a step forward, you take two steps back, right? You know how it goes. They say the EU's anti-money laundering strategy is a mistake. I'm not going to go into the article. You guys already know about it, especially if you're in the EU. But it says that the new AML provisions are akin to taking a car, removing its engine, and fastening a team of horses to prevent the car from speeding. So again, guys, you take a few steps forward, you take a few steps back. I think ultimately we're taking steps in the right direction, but same thing like the US. The US is obviously over regulating. Well, they're not actually really regulating is the problem. They're actually keeping it quite vague, which is also bad. But they do have a tendency to over-regulate and then pull back, right? So it's actually kind of weird how the U.S. really isn't really taking any stances right now. I think it's about time we do get clear regulation. But again, if you guys want to, well, I think most of you already know how I feel, but if you want to hear other people's opinions, I'll be on with, Tom Crown, Crypto Lifer. So we'll just be having a good time over here chatting. That is tonight at 7:30 Eastern Time. 6:30 CST. Okay, so just figure out the time zone. Make sure you guys follow me over on Twitter. It's at the Crypto Zombie. I have links. You can just click them and take you right to Twitter. And join the conversation. It'll be live. You guys can ask questions and all that other stuff. So that's it for me. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I make these videos. Until next time, stay crypto. Check this video out right here, right now. And of course, peace out.